Now, before we start talking about the specialized equipment, I just want to mention that in many of the training segments, you'll see that I've used what's called a regular metal choke chain. Now, the reason I did this was because at the time that we filmed those segments, I had not yet developed my command collar. And also, there were places in the world where the only collar that you could use that was of any corrective nature was this metal choke chain. And I wanted to show that you could achieve results using this piece of equipment for those people. Now, unfortunately, with the choke chain, if not used properly, it is not as safe a collar as my command collar. And this is a major problem. It will also not give you the type of results that you will get with my command collar. My command collar will get a quicker, easier result for both you and the dog. So the method that I use with the choke chain in those training segments, you simply follow that along, but you will be using the command collar, which again, as I said, will give you a much better, faster result, and it will be safe for the dog as well. For the majority of dogs, you'll get the amazing results that you're looking for using my command collar. Now, there are some extreme cases where you're going to need to move up to another collar. Now, in that case, what I recommend is the use of a metal prong collar. Another name for this is a pinch collar. It operates in a similar manner to my command collar in that you hook your leash down here, and this motion of the chain brings the collar in tighter. The difference here is that the links are now made of these metal prongs, which offer a stronger bite. So if you have an extreme dog, this is a collar that will help you move to that level to bring him down to the point where he is now going to respect you and start to work on a level that you can handle. Then you can move back to my command collar once you've reined the dog in with the use of this. They come in larger sizes like this, and they come in your small sizes as well for your smaller dogs. So even though it looks a little rough, don't fear that when you use it properly. It will simply help you get to that point that you're wanting to be at. It's a good tool to transition to bring your dog down so that then you can now move back into using the command collar. For those of you that are going to be using this specialized piece of equipment, just watch my prong collar section, which will have a little bit more detail about how to take it apart, put it together, and solve any confusion that you may have using it. Another piece of specialized equipment that you can use is an electronic collar. Now, these are great collars for solving problems at a distance or problems where your dog only acts up when you're not visible to them. So if you are having some struggles with anything, look at the section on electronic collars on the DVD, and it will explain a lot of the areas where you can use this collar and how to use it. Good collar if used properly after you have laid the groundwork of manual training with your dog so that your dog believes that you are the one who's in control. I never rely on an electronic collar to start training a dog. It's a tool that I will use to tidy up behavior once we've got the first level of respect happening. Another piece of specialized equipment that you can use, which I actually use fairly often when I'm starting training with a dog, is a nylon muzzle. Now, they come in either a solid nylon or a mesh muzzle. Now, the opening here, when you put this on the dog's head, nose part goes through here, his eyeballs will be up here, his nose is out this way, his tongue is hanging here. So he can breathe easily when you have this sized properly, and there should be enough room so the dog can get his mouth open a bit and hang his tongue out. That's how they cool themselves off. They need that. But with the mesh one, you will get side air ventilation. Now, this doesn't help the dog necessarily breathe any better. It simply reduces the amount of sweat that the dog may feel if they've got it on for any period of time. Now, also, too, with these, when you put them on, you want to snug them up very firmly behind the ears so that there's no possibility the dog can grab it with his paws and pull it down over his nose. If he starts pulling it off, you're going to find that he's going to fight it more. As soon as he learns that he can get it off, he's going to resist it more. So put it on tight the first time. It's not on there for comfort. It should be on so that he can't get it off. And let him fight it. If he wants to get upset about it at first, he can fight through it. Then he'll realize that fighting it isn't going to help, so then he'll start to work with it on. Now, when you're using a muzzle, the great part about it is that it's not simply something that you put on a dog who's an aggressive, vicious monster. You can use these on any dog that is being scatterbrained, not focusing, not being patient, being stubborn in any particular way, when you're making your corrections and you're doing the best job that you can and your dog is still resisting following your command, when you put a muzzle on a dog, it instantly changes the dog's attitude. Now, they may fight and kick like a horse with a saddle on for the first few minutes. Once they accept the fact that this muzzle is on there and it's not coming off, they start to look at life differently because you have now controlled their one main thing that gives them power in life, which is the use of their teeth. So they then have to start to analyze the situation they're in and say, well, what else can they do if they don't have teeth available? Even if a dog has never snapped before, many dogs feel incredibly confident and more dominant than the humans that they're working with because they have the knowledge that they have teeth available to them, even if they've never threatened or growled or snapped before. So we've worked with dogs that have just simply seemed ADD, that couldn't focus, were very hyper. And when you put a muzzle on them, suddenly it brings all their thinking into one point, and they relax and they start to do what they're told to do. So it wasn't that they couldn't focus, it wasn't that they couldn't be patient, or that they didn't understand what you wanted. It was that they felt they did not have to focus or be patient or be obedient. So the muzzle is a great tool. So don't be afraid of this. And I know there's a stigma against having a dog with a muzzle on. People that think, oh, I don't want my neighbors thinking I have an aggressive dog. Well, it's a temporary tool to get to the point where your dog is respecting you. So use them as much as you need to get where you need to be, and it's going to help change your dog.